So I'm sitting here with the project manager for the sponsor project. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Mickey.
Could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, Abibu W. Fude. I'm working for the sponsorship project of Masanga Hospital, and I'm getting up to 3 years now in this project, and I'm staying in the Masanga community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody, I just want to talk to you a little bit about the current situation in the country, of course, but also for our student, what life they are living in the project, and also the students who's not yet fortunate to have a sponsor, what kind of situation they are in. So can you give us a brief update on how our project is working?
Yes, I think before now the project was really working fine, and everything was fine for the students, and that is to say before the Ebola outbreak in the country. As a result of the Ebola outbreak, it made the project a little bit bad, and for the students also, because they miss a long time when they have not been in school. But even at that, the project still cares for the students, even when they are not going to school. The project provides them with learning facilities like textbooks, books, radio, so that they can be listening to the emergency teaching radio program in the country. And it also provides them some logistics and like assistance with food. And now the schools are back to normal. The students are back to school, and they are attending school. And I think the students are living a better life, because it's like if it were not for the project, it would have been difficult for them to really go back to school. Looking at the families where they are coming from, and looking at some of constraints hanging around them in school. So the project means a lot in their lives, and I think that is why they are happy going back to school, right? And when we compare our students that are in the project and those outside the project, it's a very big difference, and that is why a whole lot of parents, guardians, students are coming to my office asking for assistance, because I think they can only live a better life in school, and feel like they are, they are better prepared for the future if they get connected to our office, wherein they can get some kind of educational assistance. So there's a big difference between the students who are going to school in our project and those who are not in our project. Yes, that's very fair.
The students who are in our project, they are all receiving support so they can get an education. When they have an education in a country like Sierra Leone, it's much easier to get a job, of course. For young people in the community who do not receive an education, what kind of future do they have ahead of them?
For those who are not receiving assistance from this office, mean?
Yeah.
Well, they also have a future, but it's a very difficult challenge for them, to have a very good future. As you say, it is easier to get a job when you get educated in Sierra Leone, but then in the case where you don't get the education, automatically it becomes difficult for you to survive in life. And I think that is why even the poor farmer today wants his children to go to school, because it's only through education I think they can live a standard life.
Because the poor farmer knows that he doesn't want his own children to
become like him,
hardworking.
Yeah, hardworking. Yes. Although farming is part of our activity, common activity in Sierra Leone, but people just do it, but it's very difficult. So they want their children to go to school. I think that's the best option for them in life.
What kind of educational opportunities do we have in our local community around Masanga?
Well, the educational opportunities we have in Masanga here, for now, when you talk of the formal education, we have the primary, we have the secondary, and now we have the college in Masanga community. So that is one opportunity for students to, acquire education.
What difference does it do to the children who is living in this community, where they can go to school close to home, compared to other students who have to travel or maybe move away?
And that is really affecting a whole lot of children around Masanga, because like Masanga, we are lucky to have primary schools here. We are lucky to have the secondary school along the line, though we are struggling to have it. and also the college. So it is very easy for children in this community to access school. And that is why we have a whole large number of children going to school compared to other areas that have to walk distant miles, like 5 miles, 3 miles of. Sometimes they cannot continue. They will start, but they cannot continue with the constraints of walking a long distance, So along the line, they just break and stop from schooling. And that will really mean to them, that future is really of a very big challenge to survive, Yeah. And that is why, in fact, the community saw it like to have a secondary school here is more of an advantage, because children having to walk 3 miles to go to secondary school, 4 miles to walk to secondary school every day for 8, 9 months, it's very boring. So that makes some students to just fall back and forget about education, looking at the constraints hanging around them.
If you look at Masanga, the community and also the hospital in particular in the future, if they manage to have all the children educated, or as many as possible, what will that mean to the community in the future and also to the hospital?
I think that is the one good thing about this sponsor project, because when you talk of developing the individual, you have to give the person education, and education is the best. So now it's like I look at it like it's empowering the community youths and equip the community youth to get education, meaning like the liabilities of this community in the future will be handled by people of this community, and especially like the hospital. If the community children are educated, it is very easy to transform, to take responsibility of whatever community asset like they have the hospital. So meaning getting education is very more important, because the whole community will benefit. Let's say if we get doctors from our sponsorship, or get politicians, as the case may be, ministers or whatever, this community will stand as an advantage. Regardless, the education is not only meant for the benefiting of Masanga community, but then it will help through more light, more development to come into the community. Yes.
Of course, maybe even though we're trying, we're not fortunate enough to be able to support every children in this community or even in the surroundings. But what does it do to a family if even just one child is educated?
Well, that goes with the adage that say, if you educate a boy, you educate an individual. But when you educate a girl, you educate a whole nation. So meaning, if one person is able to benefit from this project and later come up to be somebody very important in this community, it means that person can in turn help the entire community. So even when one person is helped, it's a big bonus to the community as a whole. Yeah. We know it is not easy to reach every door, to reach every person that needs. But I mean, the few among the others that are fortunate to have sponsorship, if they end up to become successful with their education, I'm sure they can serve the community as a whole, not only an individual family, but I believe they will serve many others.
Yes. Thank you so much, Abibu, for explaining about the project.
Yeah, and if I'm to, can I make instances?
Of course.
Yeah, if I'm to make instance like here, the project want to really help children who are coming to the office, or parents, but it's not possible in the other way. Let's say if the project is able to develop a strategy where they can help to build a secondary school here. So meaning the 1,000 children having to attend the secondary school will equally benefit, just like whoever is in the project as of now. So meaning if one child gets success from his education and become a teacher, he can teach all the 1,000 students passing through the school. So one way or the other, one person has benefited a whole lot of people in this community. I think all that is fine.
Thank you, Abibu. I appreciate it. And thank you for your work you're doing.